I was planning on making a video showing off how good Adamancipator was, and this was the list I had in mind. We went in, we played an awful lot of games. I picked out some of the ones that weren't just me comboing for 16 minutes at a time. I had to show off the deck a little bit, some of its positive points, its negative points. I did want to talk briefly about some of the negative points. We're not doing a deck profile on this deck because it's about to be changed irrevocably by the ban list. So yeah, the ban list is definitely going to hurt this deck, but there's going to be a lot of concepts that are going to remain the same, and I do want to talk about some of those towards the end of the video, so stick around for that. But yeah, we just have a few quick fire replays lined up. If you want to get an idea of how the deck plays, maybe you want to watch the gameplay, make any suggestions, throw any ideas at us for what the deck might look like in the nearest future. We're going to talk about some of the things that will or won't work in the future towards the end of the video, what we sort of want to do with the deck going forward. But by all means, if you're an expert Adamancipator player, you probably know more about this deck than I do, so you can throw your suggestions in the comments below. But if you are new to the channel and you want to show any level of support, you can of course subscribe to catch new videos as they're coming out instead of just coming across them randomly, and you can like the video to show that little bit there. But if you find yourself in a position where you have the means and the desire to show even more support to the channel and help us grow even faster, you can of course join as a member as well. Every single member is very, very appreciated, and again, I think there's 5 of us at the minute, so I really do appreciate anyone who does take the time and resources to do that. But again, without any further ado, let's get into the replays. Already getting into game 1, we're going first, and we have a relatively decent hand here. We're going to start off with the Misting Seedling. Now, Vernus Life cards are, not only are they are really good in this deck, don't get me wrong. Man, I hate how my green screen is clipping. They are really good in this deck, don't get me wrong. However, the fact that they lock you into earth effects only during the turn in which you activate one of their effects is really rather limiting in this deck, because it does prevent you from utilizing things like Raptite or Dragite during your turn, at least the turn in which you summon these guys. So it can be rather annoying, but I do think the extension that they grant you is more than worth it, because we're able to bring out Researcher here with relative ease. Going to check the top 4 cards of our deck for a usable card among them. I believe in this situation we're going to go for the Guardian, absolutely. We're going to go for now the Vernus Life in hand, grabbing the Awakening, summoning her back because it's a level 4, so we can go into the Gallant Granite. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert Adamancipator player here, but as far as I'm aware, you want to grab that Block Dragon as soon as you possibly can. We're going to bring out the Guardian and the Revival Golem here. We're going to use 2 to go into Sprite Elf. Of course, we cannot use its effect this turn, so we can't bring back the Researcher right away. We're going to go Masquerena. This is primarily just to trigger off the Block Dragon to get searching. Going to grab ourselves a Seeker, an Analyzer, and the cart. Again forgetting that we couldn't activate its effect because it's water. But either way, we're going to go Analyzer here because we hadn't used our normal summon yet. Analyzer, check the top 5 of the deck, and summon out among them a Supplier. Supplier gets searching for Guardian. So adding another card to our hand, we're going to go Seeker now. Special summon out the Seeker. Going to free up some room for a Dweller. Dweller's really good right now. We're going to go Block Dragon, linking these 3 off into Appaloosa so we can free up room. That's the primary concern here. We're going to reveal the Nibiru in deck to grab the Researcher, since we haven't actually summoned it using its effect this turn. We are going to go Seeker, going to reveal the top cards of the deck, hopefully hit one here. Unfortunately, I don't believe we do, which does actually really hurt us a lot. Because we're forced now to banish the Maxi from our hand to summon out our Block Dragon once again. Misplay from ourselves, we should have just passed and kept the Maxi in hand, but ultimately, because we didn't hit a rock off of Seeker, it really did hurt. Otherwise, we would have had the additional material we needed to summon out the Block Dragon, and even to summon him out yet again afterwards, to utilize with the Seeker to go into another monster. But it is what it is. Up against Unicorn here. Unicorn's basically universal right now. They're going to go for a Called Might on our IP, which is totally fine because it's worthless to us. That is absolutely fine. We mainly wanted to trigger the Unicorn so that we could then use Baron de Fleur's effect to negate the Unicorn to not only stop it from searching for birth, but to completely destroy the card as well. So we just wanted rid of the Unicorn. Into the battle phase, they got the evenly matched. They outplayed us there. Very unfortunate, but they are under Abyss Dweller. We do have an Appaloosa. We have 3 more monster negates, and they don't have a battle phase. So I don't believe our opponent sticks around very much longer here. They get negated, set a card, and pass turn. Into our turn, we're going to draw into the Kelbeck. We're going to summon out Block Dragon from the graveyard again. We're going to use it and of course, our Kelbeck to go into Ayusa, Suya, and there you go. GG's. Block Dragon is simply nuts. Block Dragon is simply one of the best cards in the game, and it's not even close. I'm glad it's getting banned because of situations like this, because we would have summoned a Block Dragon, activated its effect, and we would have went from no cards in hand to having 3, plus the negates and the Link Monster and the ability to bring it back again, and it's just insane the amount of follow-up. Our opening board wasn't as broken as Adamancipator is used to, because we're using the Avernus Life cards. That of course prevents us from using Raptite. That, and we didn't hit a rock off of our Seeker, which really did hurt, because we needed to get rid of Max C then for our Block Dragon play. But nonetheless, decent game. Let's get into game 2. I don't know about anybody else, but I was going up almost exclusively against Kashtira players. I know the deck is pretty popular right now, but I wasn't expecting it to be this popular. It is everywhere. We're going to go for Seeker here. We're going to reveal the top 5 of the deck. We're going to grab a card among them and summon it out to the field. This green screen is absolutely doing my head in, both literally and figuratively. We're going to drop 2 cards to the grave, going for the Awakening here, grabbing it from deck, bringing back the Guardian from the graveyard, Awakening, then activating in a pitch itself to send the Revival Golem. Now we're going to bring out another Guardian as well as the Revival Golem. Going to use 2 to go into the Gallant Granite. That's Fang, Gallant Granite, detaching material, get searching for the Blanc Dragon. Now we're going to use 2 in a Link Summon for Sprite Elf, so we can set up some targeting protection, summoning out the Block Dragon to go into IP Masquerena. This is a pretty standard play because you basically really want to get your Block Dragon into the graveyard so you can start searching for cards, and this is typically how you want to do it. So we're going to grab the Researcher here as well as Cart, and then we've also got the Analyzer. Again, we just didn't have like a super usable card for this slot right here. You could argue Doki Doki maybe is a pretty good card you could have put here for a normal summon, but I wasn't too worried about it either way. We're going to go Researcher here. Researcher bringing out, again, checking the top 5 of the deck. Going to grab a usable card among them if we can. There's another Guardian hitting the triple Guardian. We're going to go Abyss Dweller once again. Pretty standard plays here. Block Dragon coming back in the Baron de Fleur. Have you ever seen this board before? I wonder where we've seen that. Now we're going to go Analyzer. Analyzer, check the top 5 again. Let's see if we can't hit a usable rock monster. And we hit the Cart. So Cart then, these 2 are going to go in the Raptite. Of course, Raptite unable to use its effect. We later replaced this card with Naturia Beast for this exact reason. But yeah, passing on the Raptite, that's totally fine. We're going to go Abyss Dweller during the draw phase, detaching the material from it. We're going to summon out an Ogre here. We're going to follow up on that Ogre with a Max C. They're going to go for Called By on that Max C. We're going to use Sprite Elf to play around the Called By because we're able to bring it back from the graveyard, but he's got Crossout Designator to still try and negate the Max C. We're going to use Baron de Fleur to negate the Crossout. So we're negating their negate, and the Max C coming out to the field here using our Sprite Elf, so it is not affected by Cult of the Grave. So yes, he is now on their Max C. Kashtira Ogre going to check the top cards of our deck. And Kashtira really doesn't have a great time trying to outpace Adamancipators, because we really do get a lot of stuff going. They're going to go Fissure here. Unfortunately, it's too late for that to be super useful to them. They are going to grab Preparations at the very least. Normal summon the Psybeast. Psybeast get Banishing. They're going to go for Kashtira Birth, bringing back the Fenrir. Looks like they have some gas here, but is it going to be enough to win them the game? It's not looking likely. They're going to go for Big Eye. And the Big Eye then, as soon as they summon the Big Eye, we're going to go into our Underworld Goddess, quick play Link summon into the Goddess, negate the board so he's no longer a level 7, and then they pass turn to us, and I'm pretty sure, yep, they do not stick around after that. So there's yet another fantastic use of the IP Masquerena. Just really straightforward, having untargetable boss monsters, having an absolutely massive field, having multiple interruptions and negates, it's just hard to pass up, man, and that's what Adamancipator just shits out like it's nobody's business. It's ridiculous. And again, I can't get over this, but the amount of follow-up that you have because of Block Dragon is incredible. Or I should say had, because now now they're losing their Block Dragon, which is going to be huge. Anyway, let's keep on going. Alrighty, into game 3 then. I don't like uploading all the wins here, so we're going to see a way in which you can possibly counter the deck. And what better way to counter a combo deck than to out combo it. So we're going to start again, business as usual, checking the top cards of our deck, summoning out Supplier grabbing Guardian here. We're now going to use these 2 to go into the Raptite. Again, can't use the Raptate, unfortunately. That's why we replaced it later in the deck profile, which I'm going to talk about. But that's totally fine. We're going to now bring back the Guardian here. We're going to drop these 2 to Grave, sending a Kelbeck. We're going to now bring back the Researcher, Kelbeck, then activating. We're going to mill cards. We're revealing that our opponent is playing Valence. Again, another card we replaced. I know you're seeing some cards now that weren't in the finished product, and there's a reason for that. Trust me, there's a reason we replaced them, and you're seeing it. We're going to go over on the Fleur, bringing back the Block Dragon here, using these 2 to go into the Earth Charmer. Block Dragon then going to use its effect, going to add Doki Doki, going to add the Researcher, and going to add the Gigantes to the hand here. We're going to go Researcher, summoning it out to the field, checking the top 5 of the deck to see if there's a summonable card among them. There is the Revival Golem. So we're going to bring that out here. We're going to now banish free from the grave, bringing out the Block Dragon once more, going into a Supreme Sovereign. Now we're going to bring out Gigantes using these 2, now going into the Abyss Dweller. So we've essentially got a Monster Negate, Graveyard Floodgate, an Omni Negate, and the Supreme Sovereign is of course going to be able to banish some cards if our opponent is playing anything that banishes. But it looks like they're playing Valence, which I don't really know. I don't think Abyss Dweller affects them too much, and Qing Ying, I don't know if they do any banishing, so I don't know if it's even going to be applicable. I don't really know this deck super well. They're going to start rolling dice. They're going to check the top 5 cards of the deck and grab a Valence card among them, adding it to their hand, which is pretty neat. They're going to grab the Field Spell there. Field Spell I know is a bit of a problem, so whenever they activate that, that's when I decide to use my Banish. The Field Spells can do some pretty tricky maneuvers, so they can, moving monsters between the monsters and spell and trap card zones, and does a bunch of funky shit. But anyway, they're going to go for Masquerena then. Masquerena plus their other monster into a Unicorn. Putting a lot on the line here for a Unicorn play. Going to try and spin back our Qing Ying. We're going to go for Guardian to negate that. Just shutting that down as soon as we can. Getting rid of the Unicorn. Of course, it doesn't actually disappear because it is protected by IP, but that's fine. They're going to summon out the Valence Priestess. They're going to grab another field spell, so now they're able to activate this one, playing another one onto our field. Using that, they're able to get rid of our Qing Ying by putting it in the spell and trap card zone. Now, beyond the Pendulum making its way to the field, going to get searching at the cost of 1200 life points for the Duelist. Now they're going to activate a Voltage of Viscount. Now the Performapal Duelist, Extravagant Extraordinaire. Pendulum summoning for 2, going to pop 2 as well. Popping the Ayuso, which is going to let us grab a Guido because we have nothing else really worth grabbing, if I'm being perfectly honest. They're going to use the field spell here, summon out another card, going into their Valence Genesis, getting rid of the Qing Ying, full stop, going into Electromate as well. Buddy, you need to chill. He's playing so many cards. And this is what I mean. This is how you beat Adamancipators. They're going to play combo. You just got to out-combo the combo, baby. We're going to go Celine now. Celine's going to check for spell cards. Plenty of spells to use its effect. I'm just going to speed things along here. They hit Tails. That was really weird. In the access code boosting up by 3k, popping 1. They got 25, they got 18, and they got 53 for game. Valence were the ones to take the dub from us. You know, we play through loads of Castira, we play through other top tier decks, and then Valence is the one that takes it. And they took it purely through like willpower and comboing, right? It wasn't like a fancy effect, it wasn't a cool boss monster, it was just, I'm going to play through all of your interruptions. And they fucking did. Fair enough. Let's get into the deck profile. Alrighty. So, like I said at the beginning, we're not necessarily doing a deck profile on this because I don't think it's too necessary. The reason being, unlike Sprite, which we're going to be covering tomorrow, the ban list changes are really going to heavily shift the way in which this deck is played. With Sprite's just going to have to, you know, pick up a couple of cards, whatever. Adamancipators, we're gonna have to find a whole new way of playing Adamancipators. The reason being, what are we actually losing? For anyone who didn't catch my deck, my ban list video, absolutely give the ban list video a watch because it covers everything. But we're losing Grass, we're losing a Guido, we're losing a Kelbeck, and we're losing the best card in the deck, Block Dragon. The single best card in the deck, hands down. So what does that mean for the deck? What that means for the deck is we're going to be seeing one of two things happening. And what I think is going to be one of the more successful ways of playing this deck is going to be using potentially a hybrid Punk Synchron Adamancipator deck build, focusing around the usage of the level 2s. I think that's one way in which it can go. I think that's definitely going to be a very popular way, utilizing things such as Small World to great effect. I think is going to be definitely a way in which the deck can go. I don't think they're going to be playing Vernus Lives very much anymore. So you're going to find yourself in a position where your Adamancipator a deck or your opponent is either going to be hard committing to Vernus Life, or they're not going to be playing Vernus Life at all. I think that's going to be the position we take on it. There's quite a lot of really powerful Earth monsters still, so we might see some Vernus Life play, but I really think that the limitation that these guys place upon, particularly your Raptite, as well as your ability to use Dragouts effect if you were to go second, is really, really detrimental. So I would likely find myself dropping Vernus Life. And another way in which the deck can see going, and this is where I think it's probably going to be most powerful, is potentially even a Sprite version. I think Sprite and Adamancipator might come together to build a pretty powerful deck. Now, Sprite... wait, why am I taking that out? Sprite Adamancipator is not new, right? That's a deck that people have been playing around with. It has been in the public eye and is one that a lot of people are very aware of. And it is, I think, definitely because the focus, we're going to want to shift more onto our level 2s, because that's our most powerful cards. I think a Sprite package, at the very least, is going to help this deck out a lot, and it is also going to help Sprite sort of hobble through the limitations that have been placed upon them. So utilizing things like Cart, Researcher, Seeker, Doki Doki, you wouldn't play too many other like big rock monsters in the deck, but you would definitely want to play at least maybe 6 or 7. Just so that you've consistently got targets. I would personally lean towards, of course, Guardian and Supplier. I think would be some of the better ones, because it provides you some additional protection in circumstances against Maxi and such. You could also play like the one of Gigantes and the Revival Golem if you really wanted to play some Granite plays. So there's definitely quite a lot that can be done with the future of this deck the way it is. So I'm looking forward to experimenting with it. Again, there's quite a lot of ideas I want to test out. I really like the idea of the Punk Synchron, like Punk Assault Synchron Chaos-ish version. I think is going to be a lot of fun. I do think the Sprite version is going to be a little bit more consistent and probably more powerful as well. So I do intend to play around with that as well. But ultimately, we're moving into a format that is entirely new. And we have the ability to dick about a wee bit. We can mess around with some different combinations and cards and everything. So I am looking forward to absolutely blasting people with our no longer top tier Adamancipator deck. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that no, Adamancipator is no longer top tier. I don't think that anyone would disagree with that statement. But anyways, we're going to be testing it out as it develops. If you're interested in seeing that as soon as it actually comes out, feel free to subscribe and you can catch the videos right away as I'm doing them. And if you're in a position where you can show a little bit of support, of course, like I said, joining as a member is available to everybody, and anybody who wants to go that extra mile to help the channel grow, especially in these early stages, is more than welcome to do so and even encouraged. So with that being said, catch our video, the one up there, catch that video right there, it's right there, you can click on it. That video is going to discuss Punk Kashtira, which I think is going to be my favorite deck moving into the new format, and I think it's going to be super powerful, especially with the limitations being put onto everything else and nothing being done to it. It's about to be a fun time. So anyways, that'll wrap us up for today. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.